Caitlin did an individual workout this morning.
What does that entail for her? Is she with coaches for that? Is she just literally by herself?
No, she's with our player development coaches, with our medical staff, with our sports performance staff, and just working on some basketball skill stuff, movement pattern stuff as she continues to work her way back to full team. Yeah, no, I think it's still too early.
Do you have a better idea, I guess, on just her status? Like, is she doing better with her back, or do you have more clarity, I guess, just on the injury itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think every day is a little bit better, right? Every day is a little bit better. And again, I reiterate for those who haven't had back issues, every day can be something different. You can feel really good in practices or workouts or warm-ups or whatever, and then you go to bed at night and you wake up and it's different. Or, if you sit at home and you're watching something on television, if you're watching the game or whatever else, you can wake up and it's different.
She definitely has an injured back, and this does not sound good. This doesn't sound like, oh, this is an isolated injury. This sounds like she's got a bad back. And they're like, oh yeah, some days you're good, some days you're bad. Dude, if she's a bad back at 24, it's rough.
Welcome back to WNBA Trends, where we break down what's really happening behind the headlines. Caitlin Clark isn't at Indiana Fever practice right now, and the way her coach just explained why tells you this is worse than anyone saying publicly. Stephanie White stood in front of cameras and listed off every department handling Clark's rehab: player development coaches, medical staff, sports performance specialists. When a coach starts rattling off that entire list, that's not describing a minor tweak. That's describing a full medical protocol for someone who might be out for a while.
So, based on the responses from Stephanie White, it does sound similar to her being out from the season last year. Do I think she'll be out for the season? No. Do I think she will be absolutely back, barring another injury or another setback, that she will be out for the, or she'll be back for the Valkyries game? I don't believe this is the case. But you would hope the Fever are trying to keep her away from the media storm. And if I'm the Indiana Fever, I am absolutely being very, very specific with who gets to ask Caitlin Clark the first question. I'll talk about that in a video later. I've said I'm probably one missed practice away from not seeing Caitlin Clark till mid-July. If this is true, that, her back's a little bit at her, but she's good enough to practice. I'm going to be real. They're not putting in anything at these practices that is going to change anything wrong. Taking my eyes closed. I'm going to be honest. It's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. And then you also have to take into account that if you're the Indiana Fever, there's one thing that, as Steph White says, the blessing in disguise. The blessing in disguise that is Caitlin Clark not being there, according to Stephanie White. And we also have to take into account that if they go and let's just say they beat the Aces, let's say Aja plays and they beat the Aces on Sunday, Aja plays, and then let's just say she misses the 4-game away stand. Because look, if she misses game 1 and she's injured, she's not playing game 2. Let's say because they're playing the Mercury, they're playing the Sparks who stink.
For Caitlin Clark, the path forward is uncertain. She needs to get healthy. She needs to prove she can stay healthy. She needs to show that this back issue is temporary and not something she'll battle for years. Because if it's chronic, if this becomes a long-term problem, then her career trajectory changes dramatically. She goes from potential all-time great to a cautionary tale about the physical toll of carrying too much too soon. And there's one more layer to this that people aren't talking about enough. Caitlin Clark didn't ask for any of this. She didn't ask to be the face of the WNBA's mainstream breakthrough. She didn't ask for the intense media scrutiny. She didn't ask for the social media wars. She didn't ask for every game to be dissected and every interaction to be analyzed. She just wanted to play basketball at the highest level. But the pressure of being Caitlin Clark in 2026 is immense. Every time she steps on the court, she's not just playing for herself or her team. She's carrying the hopes of an entire fan base that sees her as the savior of women's basketball. She's dealing with another fan base that resents her and wants to see her fail. She's navigating media members who built their platforms covering her and now need her for content. She's managing teammates with complicated feelings about the attention she receives. And she's doing all of this while trying to develop as a professional player in a league that's more physical and more demanding than college ever was. Is it any wonder her back is breaking down under that weight? The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark healthy. The league's mainstream breakthrough has been built largely on her popularity. Ratings spike when she plays. Attendance surges when her team comes to town. Losing her to injury, even temporarily, hurts the entire league's momentum. But you can't force someone to play through chronic back pain. You can't will a bad back to get better. All you can do is manage it, hope for the best, and prepare for the worst. So, here's where we are. Caitlin Clark is away from the team, working with medical staff, trying to get her back healthy enough to practice. Stephanie White can't give a timeline because back injuries are unpredictable. The Fever are about to play 4 games that will reveal whether they can survive without their star. And based on everything we've seen, based on the language coming from White, based on the fact that Clark is completely separated from team activities, this doesn't feel minor. This feels significant. This feels like the kind of injury that changes seasons and potentially careers. And if that's the case, then we need to start having honest conversations about what Caitlin Clark's future looks like and whether the Indiana Fever can afford to wait around to find out. That's WNBA Trends. Thanks for watching.